Today we're going to be learning about oceans. And has anyone seen an ocean and when?
I went to the beach.
Oh, you saw an ocean there?
I went on a cruise.
Oh, let's talk about
and I saw it, and also I did see one in a dream when I was surfing in the ice.
Okay.
Yes, I've gone on a cruise and I went to the ocean and I've gone to the beach and I've gone to the beach and the ocean on a cruise.
Have any of you guys been in an airplane? Have you
Yes.
seen an ocean from the airplane too?
Yes.
So yeah, some of you guys have flown over an ocean. That's another way you can see an ocean. Okay, so what makes the ocean different from other bodies of water? So like what's different from an ocean to like a lake?
A lake doesn't have waves. It doesn't have rough waves.
Mm-hmm. So there's no motion?
The lake water is more cleaner than the... Yeah, because ocean is salty. Water is
Yes,
And
ocean
lake
has salt water.
Forests.
Yes. So what we've said so far is lakes are smaller. Lakes usually have salt water and they're usually cleaner. Oh no, oceans usually have salt water and lakes are usually cleaner. Do you have anything to add?
Some lakes don't have salt water.
Yes, that's very true. So oceans are also way deeper and they have so much more marine life than lakes do as well. Okay, so about the ocean. So like you guys were talking about before, how lakes don't have waves, but oceans do. That's because oceans have currents, which are the movement of water, and this contributes to the Earth's weather patterns. So currents are primarily caused by tides, which have you guys ever heard of a riptide?
I did, and also there's something called tsunamis caused by oceans.
Yes, tsunamis. Those are very, 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 very big waves that are caused by oceans. So the currents are caused by tides, Earth's rotation, and wind. And this is to carry warm water to colder areas and cold water to warmer areas. So it's keeping the temperature even around the whole area. Even though we know that if you go into where it's deeper in the ocean, it's definitely way colder than where it's more shallow. So why are oceans important? So they help regulate the Earth's temperature. Do you guys have any idea why it would help regulate the Earth's temperature?
Like the sun.
Yes, the sun.
I'm sorry. I accidentally raised my hand, but I also know that the ocean keeps Earth alive, and the ocean is the ocean. If we don't have an ocean, Earth will have no life. It will be all like Mercury, Venus.
Well, yeah, that's the prediction that all life came from the ocean in the beginning. But scientists are still unsure about that. So basically, the ocean takes in heat from the sun and in the atmosphere because it has such a high specific heat, which means that it requires a lot of energy to increase the temperature of water. So that means it can take in a lot of energy and store it, which helps for global warming, which we were talking about before, and how if there were no oceans, the Earth would be so much hotter and heat cannot melt ice and evaporate water. So that's a reason why the ocean is very important. Okay, so there are 3 layers of the ocean. Have you guys learned about this yet?
I haven't played child.
Oh, okay.
Something called the Twilight Zone and the Sun Zone.
Yes, so the Twilight Zone is like the aphobic zone, which is no sunlight, and that's like the deepest part. And that's where you see those crazy fish with the little lights that come off their head. That's in that zone because...
The Horizon Zone?
The what zone? You cut out for a little bit. Oh, yeah. I think that's probably where there's the most sunlight, which is the euphotic zone, which is where the plants grow and their animals are. So if you're snorkeling, this is the zone of light you see in the ocean. Okay. And then there's the dysphotic zone, where there's no plants and there's minimal animals, because there's not enough sunlight to grow plants. And why do you think that is? Why do you need sunlight to grow plants? What do plants do?
The sunlight makes food for the plants. So if no sunlight, no plant.
Does anyone have anything to add on to that?
No.
Does anyone remember what it's called?
I think really deep parts of the ocean, coral can grow, but it takes hundreds of years for it to grow. It eats other sea creatures so it can grow.
Yes. Well, coral is actually like mini sea creatures stuck onto this like backbone of it. But it's because of, have you guys ever heard of photosynthesis? Yes, so that's what plants do by getting sunlight and water, and that's how plants grow and live. So in the dysphotic zone, there's not enough light to have photosynthesis, and that's why the plants cannot grow there. And then, as we said before, the apophobic zone is no sunlight, also known as the twilight zone. Okay, so the ocean has so many diverse things in it and so many diverse ecosystems. Have any of you guys heard or seen of the Great Barrier Reef?
No.
No?
No, but I've heard of it, and
you've heard of it?
In Lexia Core 5, and also I'm oceans form in Brainchild. They said oceans formed by land and then rain, ocean.
Yes. So the Great Barrier Reef, you can actually see it from space. So that means if you take a photo of the Earth from space, you can see a line of the Great Barrier Reef. And it's based in Australia. So the ocean has a large biodiversity. About 25% of marine animals live in the reefs of the ocean. So there's sponges, sea turtles, algae. Does anyone know any more ocean life? I want everyone to give me one more thing that you know lives in the ocean.
Shark?
Shark? Turtle?
I know. Clownfish?
Clownfish? Yeah, there's so much. And there's so much we haven't discovered yet either, because it's so hard to discover what's in the ocean, because it's a whole different area. Everything's way different. Okay, so as we were talking about before, there are coral reefs. Coral reefs provide habitat for algae, and then algae provide chemical and nutrients for nutrient recycling. So have any of you guys seen a coral reef?
No.
Yeah, but I came up really quick. But I was only, maybe 3 years ago, I was only 5. And I went and I got scared because I saw a stingray. But I still see a coral reef.
So do you guys know what nutrient recycling is? Okay, so it's basically very similar to photosynthesis, as we were talking about before, and it's where plants take in sun and water, which is also H2O, and then they output oxygen and sugar.
Sugar?
And so, yeah, glucose. And that is what coral reefs do. So they basically transform the carbon dioxide that is basically heating up the atmosphere, so the coral reefs can take it in from the water, and then they release oxygen for the animals to breathe. So we're going to do our first activity, and we're going to learn about saltwater density. So for this activity, you're going to need 2 clear cups full of water.
I don't have eggs.
You don't have eggs? Do you
No.
have something that, it doesn't have to be eggs. It just has to be something that you can put into the water. Do you have like Lego characters that you're okay with putting in water? Yeah, grab any of that.
Okay.
I'm gonna put something.
Wait, do we need like water in the clear cups?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then you're going to need some salt. I think I'll get it. And then a utensil for mixing in the salt.
You have something to put in water like Hatchimals?
Yeah, or okay, if you're okay with it getting wet and you want it to sink into the water.
Oh, okay. I don't think they will be floating in the water unless they're lucky enough to.
I think I've done this before, but I think you're just gonna make it like a float, right?
Yes. So we
Can
want.
I just use the coloring because that's what I did with my other class?
Yeah. What did you use?
Use food coloring. We use the same thing, but we use food coloring.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You can add it, but you need 2 objects: eggs or something that will sink into the water, 2 cups of water, and some salt is all you're going to need for this activity. Okay, so before we start this experiment, let's think. What is density? Does anyone know?
Weight.
Yes, weight. That has something to do with density. Anyone else have anything else to add?
How far close
Not
the
everything.
atoms are.
Yes. Okay, so density is basically the mass given the volume or amount of space. So, like, if something's very dense, all the molecules in this are very, very close together, and that makes it heavier. So, it's like thinking, do you think a cotton ball or a penny is heavier?
Penny.
A penny, and that is because the density of the penny is greater. Even though a cotton ball looks bigger, the penny looks smaller, since this has the molecules so much closer together, it has a greater weight than this one. So that means the density of this one is greater than this one.
Because the cotton ball is made out of a light material, and the
Penny's made out of copper.
Yes. Okay, so we've already done this, but you guys have filled your cups with water.
No, not yet.
Okay, and make sure that you have a little space because we're going to put eggs in the water and it's going to displace some of the water, which means the egg volume is going to go up a little farther, so you don't want your water cups to overflow. And then, if you've already done that, I want you to add a pinch of salt and mix to one of the jars. And you have to remember which jar you added the salt to. So I'm going to add it to the jar to my right. I'm going to remember in my head that it's in the jar to my right, so I know which one is the salt.
I add different color food coloring so I remember which has salt and which doesn't.
Yes, that's a great idea. If you want, you can add food coloring or something else, or label it so you remember.
Do we mix it with the cap?
Yeah, and mix the salt into the water. So now you have
Only a pinch of salt to one.
one with salt, one not with salt, and make sure you label them and remember which one's which because they look the same. So.
And we have salty water.
Yes.
Can you mix?
Yeah, mix the salt in. Now we're going to put the egg in the jar that has no salt in it. So remember which one has no salt and put the egg in.
Wait, I'm not done.
Yeah, I put it.
I did.
It's sunk. It's sunk.
It's sunk? Okay, so yeah, what did you guys observe? I want everyone to say at least like one word to one sentence of what they observed. What did your egg do?
My egg just made a small bubble of air, and it's making more now.
Yeah. Anything to add?
My Hatchimal sank.
Your Hatchimal sank?
Mhm.
Okay, so why do you think it sank while we wait for him to go get another item? What do you think the reason is?
I think my Hatchimal my Hatchimal was made out of plastic, and I think the plastic was a little light, so it sank.
I think why it sank is why the egg sank is because it's very heavy.
And what word did we just talk about before this experiment that we could use to describe that? Not math. What word did we use? It was one word. It started with a D. No. It started with a D, and we just described it. Yes, density. So we think the egg is more dense, but more dense than what?
The water.
Yes, the water. So the egg is more dense than the water, so when we put it in, the egg sinks to the bottom of the cup of water. Correct. Okay, so now we're going to put the egg into the cup of salt water and see what happens.
It floated.
It floated?
Yeah. It floated. It's floating. Huh? How?
So, yeah, like we were talking about before, why do you think it floated?
Because of the...
My egg in the salt water, it didn't float at all.
Yes. It doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't make any difference with mine.
Oh, it's
So it might be because you don't have a lot of salt into it.
It's
Put
floating.
the egg with salt.
It's not touching the ground, like the bottom of the cup.
Not touching the bottom of the cup?
Yeah, no. Because of the salts.
Yeah, because of the salt.
Because the salt is on the bottom, it's not touching the bottom of mine.
Yes. So the egg was supposed to float. It might have not.
I don't know, but
Your egg density might just be too big for this experiment. But you can also, if you ever go to an ocean soon, you could attempt doing this in the ocean and see if the egg will float or sink in the ocean, because the ocean is made out of salt water.
Wait, the ocean is literally just salt water.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're going to go with the assumption that in the salt water it floated, even though it didn't work for all of us. But why do you think that is? Why do you think this in the egg in the salt water floated while the egg in the normal water didn't float?
The salt like makes the waters like density.
Yeah.
That it makes the water's density bigger.
Yes. Okay. So that's very correct. The salt makes the water's density greater. So that means that the density of the egg is not as less dense than the salt water. So that means it floats because it won't sink into it because it weighs less.
Yeah, it's not touching the bottom.
So if anything with a higher density, so think of like pool floats. If you put your pool float on the top of your pool, it'll float, right? Even with you in it. And that's because the pool float is way less dense than the water. But if you think, if I dropped a rock in the water, it will just sink right away, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because the rock is so much more dense than the water.
And we're going to do our second activity of the day, and we're going to learn about shark buoyancy. So,
We're going to make a shark.
okay, so these are the materials we're going to need. We're gonna need 1 empty toilet paper roll. So it just looks like this.
I don't think I have.
Do you have anything
But
else?
I'll check. I guess I'll check. But is there like any other like thing instead of toilet paper roll?
Well, you could have a paper towel roll. So that might be in you can check your recycling can. There might be a paper towel roll in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Okay, and then you're gonna need a marker, 3 pennies, a balloon, and if you don't have a balloon, you can just use like a Ziploc bag, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, a bowl, and 2 cups of water, and tape. So you're just gonna need basically a bowl full of water, and then you're gonna need some tape. Okay. Well, while we wait for everyone to get their materials, others can start by drawing a little shark. Mine's a little wet, but I don't know if you can tell, but I drew a little shark onto I think it's a little dark, toilet paper roll. Can you see the shark? Oh, you can kind of see it. Very faint. Oh, there it is. Can you see my shark? So just draw a little shark onto your toilet paper roll using your marker that you got. So once you've finished your shark, while we wait for everyone else to finish, in your plastic bag or your balloon, you can put your 1/4 cup of vegetable oil in it as we just wait. But now I want everyone to take 3 pennies equidistant. So that basically means they're equally spaced out on the bottom of your tube.
like
Where your shark is.
the exact opposite of the shark place.
No, where the shark is.
Oh, right on the shark?
Yeah, you see that's my shark.
Oh.
And then I have my 3 pennies that are around just taped on. Okay, and then you're gonna grab your bowl of water. And we're gonna do a little thinking. So, do you guys remember what a hypothesis is?
Like what you think about it? Or
Yeah, what do you think's gonna happen? It's your prediction.
yeah.
So, what do you think's gonna happen when we put this shark taped with pennies into the bowl of water?
The shark will just wait, won't it just turn watery the whole paper?
Yeah, but what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think it's gonna sink or float?
Well, because of the pennies. Or no, sink. I mean, sink because of the pennies.
Okay.
Sink.
So I want everyone to say if they think it's gonna sink or float.
Sink.
Sink?
Think.
Sink? You think it's gonna float?
Or sink. It's kind of hard because the cylinder is big, so it depends on which way you drop it.
That's true. Well, we're gonna drop it down like this way. So what do you think is gonna happen if we drop it like that?
Oh, it might float. Or no, it's gonna go like this and then just go like this, or then float. It's gonna float, yeah. If you're gonna drop it like that, it's gonna float. It's gonna float. Yeah.
There's no wrong answer. Okay. So.
Wait, I'm not done with like doing the penny. Oh wait, what? I can't even glue it. The 2 pennies are like bringing the toilet paper down.
Okay, so now I want everyone to drop their. Ooh, it's coming out. Drop it into the thing and see what happens.
Wait.
Mine sunk.
Yours sunk?
Yeah, my toilet paper.
Mine sunk in the bowl, and now some of the pennies got off. And now what do you have to do?
Okay, so did everyone sink?
It sunk, yeah, it sunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it sunk. Oh.
Okay, so now we're gonna take our oil, and we're gonna place it inside the toilet paper roll and see if it sinks or floats.
Wait, of course it's gonna float. Of course it's gonna float because there's no space for it to even go down. Wait, but like, do we put the bag in too?
Yeah, put the bag into your toilet paper roll. And
Do we remove the pennies?
no, keep the penny still attached. See? Mine kind of floated, but kind of sank. But so mine basically floated, but it wasn't floating at the top. It just didn't sink all the way to the bottom. But then look, watch this. If I put the oil just into the water itself, is it floating or sinking? Can anyone tell?
There's no space for it to go down.
Well, there is space for it to go down. Look, I can push it down. But
If you push.
Don't do that.
it's floating.
You both can.
And it's floating because, why do you think it's floating?
Because of the oil.
So what does that mean about the oil?
The oil is making.
Is it less or more dense than the water?
Less.
It's less dense, so it floats in the water instead of sinking.
Yeah.
The oil is less density than the water.
Yes, the oil has less density than the water, making it float. So this is something called buoyancy. Has anyone heard of buoyancy before?
No,
So
I never heard.
buoyancy is basically what makes something float. So if you see, the buoys in the middle of the ocean, those are very buoyant. We could describe them as buoyant because they're floating in the water. So in this experiment, the oil made the shark buoyant in the water, so made the shark float in the water. But without the oil, the shark wasn't buoyant at all, and the shark sank into the water. Okay, so that is the end of our experiment and the end of our lesson.
Oil on a shark, will it if you put oil on a shark, will it sink?
I don't think a shark will sink.